Welcome back to the Mad Dog Farm. Whether you're interested or not, I thought just whether you're interested or not. Some people may be interested, and some people have actually asked how our mushrooms got on. Well, we inoculated those logs almost 2 years ago. I'm not sure the exact date. I'll have to look when I did the video, and I will put a link to that video somewhere up here. I think we're getting on for 2 years since we inoculated those logs, put them in the woods. It was getting to the point where I thought, well, we've just wasted a load of money. They're going to end up being firewood. Anyway, I was through in the other room the other night watching a bit of telly. Hobbit comes running in. Oh my God, I thought the house was burning down. Turns out, she was walking out there with the dogs and she saw this. So this pile of logs is the shiitake mushrooms. We inoculated on those logs. These logs are the blue oysters. Now, they don't look to be doing anything. The growth that's on those logs looks to be just a bit of fungus on the actual bark. Blue oyster mushrooms don't look anything like that. So we have got shiitake mushrooms coming out of our bloody ear holes. Now, they might have been there for a while, but because the Hobbit doesn't normally walk past those logs, she normally goes all the way around the field, through the woods, and then round the bottom here. But anyway, that particular night, the dogs didn't want to go right around the field, so she decided to go straight down past the woods on this side, which is the side that the logs are on. And it caught her eye, and it's like, oh my God. Anyway, she come and got a picture. Next day, trouble, it's so wet out there at the minute. Weather's a little bit changeable. We've had a hell of a lot of rain again, but then we get nice days. I can't get out there at the moment because it's soaking wet out there. I need to cut the grass. But anyway, it's a different story. So she went out there next day and harvested them all, and it's like, what do we do with all these mushrooms? Now, I have looked up before, shiitake mushrooms, you can dry them. And they're one of the only mushrooms that you can dry, and when you rehydrate them or use them in cooking, they retain their flavour. So here we go. We've got about 4 or 5 jars of this dehydrated shiitake mushrooms. Now, I have used them in cooking. I'm going to be using them later on today. I'm going to be making a mushroom and goat's cheese calzone, which is basically pizza dough, fried up mushrooms, bit goat's cheese on half the pizza dough, fold it over, bake it in the oven. So that'll be rather interesting. But yeah, so we thought we'd given it up as a bad job. I mean, I would take you out there and show you, but it's, as I say, it's so wet out there, I can't even get out. And the Hobbit's at work at the moment, so I've got some pictures. So I've put some pictures up, and this is the result: 4 or 5 jars of shiitake mushrooms. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, absolutely beautiful. It's got a really nice flavour. So it did work. It took us a couple of years, but it worked. Now, they should be good for between 5 to 7 years on those logs. So normally mushroom growing season here we get twice a year. So at the start of the year when it's damp, and at the end of the year, sort of around this time, we've got a lot of mushrooms in the field at the moment. The coulamels, which are like the big parasol mushrooms, which they're all right, but if they get too big, they don't have a lot of flavour. And some just like field mushrooms. That's pretty much all we've got here, but they're all coming out in the field at the moment because it's so damp. Mushrooms love it when it's damp, and at this time of the year it's got to be the right temperature. So hopefully we'll get 2 harvests of shiitake mushrooms, I'm assuming, I don't know, a year for the next 5 to 7 years. It did bloody work. Chuffed to bits. I mean, they weren't cheap, the dowels. I've got 100 dowels, I think. They weren't cheap, but to know that we've now got mushrooms and we can dry them, you know, and leave them in a jar. Tina's, obviously I'm going to be using this one, half of this one for lunch today. The other jars she's done, she's going to put oxygenators in there because you don't need to can them, you don't need to seal the jars, they're dry. Put the lid on, put an oxygenator in there, and they should keep. And dried mushrooms, or especially dried shiitake mushrooms, can be good for up to 20 years if stored correctly. Wow. We get through them. I mean, we do use a lot of mushrooms in cooking, so that's it for this video. I thought I'd just let you know, it was a bit of excitement on the farm. We got mushrooms that we've actually not planted. We've inoculated the logs with mushroom spores, and we've got bloody mushrooms. Yeah, chuffed to bits, really. It's one of them things we just thought it was a waste. You know, we've all that time and effort drilling the holes, tapping the dowels in, covering them up with wax to get nothing, and then all of a sudden, wallop. Boom. Yeah, hope you like this video. Sorry it's not outside, we're not on location. But that's it for this one. Catch you in the next video. Bye for now.